still
No
here, I guess.
rules. Oh, it's
No.
live. Who pressed live?
It's live. It's.
You pressed live.
I was just so excited.
Did you
to
press
get
live?
I did. I just wanted to get started.
This morning, we are talking about the worst way to negotiate. After 28 years of being a real estate agent, you learn some stuff, so we're going to share it with you today.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Mr. Novak, good morning. Episode 600,009. I don't even know where we got to anymore. 623. How are you this morning?
Wow. Good you.
Good.
You got a bit excited on the live button this morning.
Yeah, I'm a little trigger happy. But that's good. We've got energy. It's a new day. Thursdays are a good day for you and I think, Mark. So anyway, let's kick it off with a bang.
Big time. I tried to do the chandelier this morning, but I didn't have enough roof space, so it didn't work.
Oh, I should
Yeah.
get the lights on and make it
Yeah.
more of a
Dance
Yeah.
move. It was my 90s dance move.
We've got someone from
So
Ireland.
negotiating.
Sorry, Mark.
Hey, from Ireland. Hey,
Hello.
Regina.
Regina. I live in Wales.
Yeah. So you know what, guys and girls, there's tricks and there's things to do and not to do, and I guess we appreciate that people are from different industries. People are from, you may be a painter and you don't negotiate much in your life. You may be a economist and there's not much negotiation going on in your life. So we thought today we would share about just very simply things you should not do in a negotiation, which will make it a little bit easier for you, which will hopefully get you a better price for whatever you're buying. Property is our speciality, but you can apply this to everything.
Yeah, and it's funny how you can integrate negotiation into everyday little things, but when you don't think about it, you don't think as a negotiation. You just think about it as a little bit of wordplay or whatever it might be. But you're right, there are lots of industries that don't have any exposure or any necessity to negotiate. So yeah, as Gutso says, here we go. Mr. Novak.
Here we go.
28 years on the ground, selling properties, talking to buyers, talking to owners, relaying messages, feeding back from one to another. If you want to start off a negotiation on the right foot as a buyer, it's probably good to be positive and to have good things to say. You're looking to buy that property, so obviously like it. Why would you enter a negotiation saying that all of a sudden, this is wrong, I don't like this is old and damp, or whatever it might be?
The heckler.
The heckler. We relay these messages back to the vendor, and regardless of the money or not, it could be that, I'm sorry, but this person has just given me a little bit of a bad feeling or idea. So just the little comments don't go down very well with vendors, do they? Because it's their home. It's their...
The heckler or the dick. You just got to, it doesn't leave a good vibe in the beginning or at all through the negotiation. Some people think it's actually better pointing out the terrible points, dragging the property down, even doing it at an open house. They think that they're outwitting or outsmarting the competition, but I think you can screw yourself.
Yeah, 100%. So you've got the heckling type of negotiator. You've got the negotiator that you've never seen. You've never heard their voice. You've only seen a couple of poorly written SMSs that you don't get responded back to. Why do you think it's a bad idea not to be talking to your agent, not to go into the agent's office? Where's the power in the physical side of the negotiation if you're trying to put an offer in, Mark?
Yeah, look, I think the worst way to negotiate is by SMS. By the way, agents do that sometimes with their sellers. They flick them an SMS saying, hey, just want to let you know I had an offer come in. They do it by SMS. You do not terminate an employment by SMS. You do not start a relationship finish a relationship on SMS. You do not do a negotiation on SMS. It is a big thing to buy a property, and to be belly to belly with your real estate agent, very, very important. Do not try to do it on an SMS or an email only. I think a phone call is beautiful, it's real, it's emotional, and it's colourful, and that's the way you got to do it. So, guys, do not do your negotiation by an SMS.
If you're negotiating and it's not time isn't as pressed, fine to do it by phone calls, sending an email once you've confirmed it verbally. But if your time is pressed against you, if you're trying to secure something prior to auction, what would you say is a more effective, more powerful move than phoning up the agent? What else can you do to sort of stamp yourself down a little bit harder?
Drop into the real estate agent's open house or drop into the real estate agent's office. A great thing that absolute pros do, often buyers agents will do this, is they'll make an appointment to make an offer. They will make an appointment to make an offer. So they'll actually ring the agent and say, look, I'd love to come and see you, considering making an offer on the property. When are you available? Do you reckon the agent's going to say no?
Absolutely not. And I think we've touched on this one probably numerous times in the past, Mark, in some of our different shows. But just that power of going in, making the time, making yourself available, showing the willingness, but also the conversations that you can then have. You can understand the seller's wants and needs. If it's time, if it's just dollars, if it's certain terms they're looking for. You don't ever find that out if you don't have these little conversations. So the worst way to negotiate is having zero of this dialogue. But if you can include any of these little bits, it's going to help you out through your negotiation, which you're negotiating because you like it. It's going to help you out at the end of the day if it helps you to secure it.
You know what a negotiation's a bit like colouring a cartoon. So when you get the cartoon outline and then you colour it in with different colours. And a bad negotiation, there are no lines, there are no colours, and it is just a mess. A good negotiation is you find out the framework from the real estate agent, who finds out from the seller what the cartoon is going to look like. Then you colour it in nicely, in the negotiation. So a good negotiation has detail, has colour. People are understanding what they're negotiating over, you can't take forever. I think speed's important as well, James. You can tire out a seller, or you can tire out a negotiation if you don't have speed. A little bit like a tennis game. You want a good, fast, sharp tennis game. You don't want to. Sometimes if you go way too low on your offer, it can just leave the shit taste. With a seller, and then negotiation's over before it started. So I think starting at a figure that's actually fair. Always start lower, don't get me wrong, but fair. And one other thing before I forget, I'll bring that back at the end. Keep going.
Something that I was going to say then that's really powerful, and it happens from time to time, and probably very rarely in the residential sales side, but what we do quite often, particularly with our commercial leases, with some commercial sales, is you get everyone in a room together and you all sit down on a table and you have someone mediating the conversation, but you can get all of the good, all of the bad, everything onto the table so that everyone is across the terms. And I think that relationship or rapport that can be built for you as the agent to your vendor, you as the agent to your buyer, and then all of the parties to each other, that is extremely powerful. And that is often the way where we've seen either something that's a sinking ship, you call it, or it can make or break something. And there have been some wonderful deals that have come out of just coming into the office and having a quick 15-minute sit down, and then it's like, we didn't have all these issues that we thought we did. So anyway, I just thought that's interesting to include. Now,
it is. One other thing, guys, this is a big one. Don't negotiate direct. Don't negotiate direct. You will screw yourself hard. Think about this. Don't negotiate direct. If you are selling your house do not put yourself opposite the buyer and negotiate the price. It never happens in anything. If you have a think about anything you buy in this world, there is always a middleman. There's just always a middleman. Why? It just takes the metal to metal out of the negotiation. That hitting it softens the negotiation. If you think about even buying a car, what does the car salesman say? I've got to speak to the boss. If you think about, always when you're negotiating on something, always introduce a middleman. A great one is, look, I'm not the decision maker. You really have to speak to I've got to have a chat with my wife. Or always introduce a middleman, guys. It is the golden rule to a negotiation. You will have an awkward, stalled, or failed negotiation if you do not have a middleman. Introduce a middleman, even if they are not a middleman, but introduce a middleman in a negotiation. It is a huge success to a negotiation.
Yep. Luke said here, which is what you basically said, Mark, is taking away the emotions. And I think that's a prime example when you've got someone selling for themselves or someone negotiating a deal for themselves. You have your own personal biases. You have sentimental. There could be any little external catalyst that's going to affect your decision making. So I know immediately that it comes through, and you get sidetracked by it. You know, something will glare off in your eyes because you're involved in it. If you can slow it down, it makes a big difference. And yeah, from my own experience, it's like when you're negotiating and someone in the shops, you you don't always make the right decision for yourself. So that's why you need someone doing it for you when they're cool and controlled and controlling the emotions.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
A really good one that we were talking about yesterday, Mark, and this is something that we probably see across the industry, no matter what part of whether you're renting or selling or buying. People that don't really tell the agent the true story with them. We were talking about hiding information. We're trying to help you to buy a property if you're a buyer. And if you tell us you've got a budget of $900,000, say, we're going to put you in our system. We're going to send you information for properties up to that $900 mark. Now, really, that's the very bottom of your budget.
Right.
You don't want a $900,000 property. You actually want $1,050,000 property. But now you're not seeing anything like that. You're never going to hear any more communications from us again. And all it is because a little bit of data entry has prevented us from finding you the home you want. So putting your cards on the
crying poor. Be careful when you're crying poor, because you could get screwed for the next property that comes on. And that is I reckon that's probably one of the biggest mistakes buyers can make. So they can say, it's okay to say something like, for this property, my budget is X. But for the perfect property, my budget is Y. And how many buyers don't say that? They just give the lower price. They're never going to find out. So if you're looking to buy a house that's $2 million, and you're telling the agent, look, my budget's only 1.9, full stop, that's it. When that, what's going to happen is that agent never going to consider you for the 2.1, 2.2, or 2.3 house that's coming on the market, because you've undercooked. You've undercooked it yourself, thinking you're in a negotiation when you're telling him what your budget was, and you weren't. So be accurate with your budget. Say something like, look, my budget for this house is 1.9, but I can go up to 2.5 if it's the perfect house with the kitchen, the bathroom, or whatever you want. But a lot of buyers screw themselves that way 100% in a negotiation.
That's interestingly phrased then, of how you said that, because you said it's not a negotiation at that point. Like, you think it's a negotiation, but it's not. We're just trying to understand you at this point. This is just a back and forth. And then they take the little tiny signs. Jeff here said, buyers are liars. I hope that's not true most of the time, but unfortunately you don't get the full picture. Let's leave it at that, I reckon, without calling them liars.
And Luke's got a buyer at 515. Okay. I don't think he's given the for best buyer. Okay, cool. The
I
whole
think he's
story is
coming.
still coming through. Yeah.
Words are powerful. Let's just
Is
talk
that it?
quickly, Mark. Why don't we talk last one, terms, just very quickly with terms. You found a property that you love. You want to put an offer down.
Yep.
Hi, Mr. Agent.
Yep.
Would the owner accept a 12-month settlement, though? That's what I need to know first before I even give you an offer.
Yeah. So how many people don't understand the whole negotiation? Well, a lot of people think when they think negotiation, they think dollars, and potentially in some deals that is 10%. That is a very small part of the deal. So I think you've got to find out, is your due when you go into you want to know
Okay, I think we're having a little bit of a...
how the points are on the data.
There is. Sorry, your signal went a little bit. I think we hit a rough patch of signal for a second there, Mark. I didn't hear what you're saying. It was the jolt. So I don't know if everyone else could, but I must admit I missed most of your last little pointer there.
You got me back?
I've got you back a little bit. Signal's looking a little bit slow. Must be a storm out there, Mark, I think.
Yeah. You got me now?
I got you now. I can hear you.
Anyway, let's finish it off. That's plenty of stuff on negotiation. I hope we helped everyone today. Anything else to finish off on, James?
No, look, I think, again, if you need help to negotiate on a property, we're here to help you to do that. That's part of what we're trying to do, whether it's a property we're selling or not. If you need help, call us, because this is what we do every single day. So we'd like to help if we can extend that olive branch. Aside from that, have a great day, everybody.